guys. This is Shooter, George Shooter Nolan, and who's this?
Is I think we go now because we probably can't have that music in there if somebody owns it. Yeah. Uh, Hello, friends. In case you didn't hear it, that is George Shooter Nolan, and I am Des Esseintes, and uh, and we both hope that you're having a lovely day. Isn't that right?
Yes, yes. It's a blessed morning in Omaha, Nebraska. Am I right?
I hope so. I hope they're having a lovely time. And if I am in Omaha, Nebraska, I hope I am having a lovely time.
Well, I'd like to also send out my love to my people in Norman, Oklahoma. How you doing out there?
I'm
So, yep,
good.
I'm George Shooter Nolan.
That's
So,
that's George
uh,
Shooter Nolan,
yep.
everybody. This is
So,
Nebraska.
yep.
Oklahoma.
Anyways, yeah. So, how drunk are you right now?
Not very. I had a lager earlier, and I can't recall the name, but I am having a little bit of ouzo. Do you know ouzo?
No, I've not. Is that some sort of Italian thing?
It's Greek, I believe. It's I've got the bottle here with me, ouzo, and it is by Metaxa, Greek specialty liqueur. It's 40% alcohol. It's delicious, it's nutritious, and according to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcoholic beverages during pregnancy. So you know it's good.
I see. Yep.
Well,
Guys only.
guys, it's
Guys only.
it's for guys only. Sorry, ladies, this one's for us
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. So on
Who?
your bed, uh,
So what?
so on your bedroom door, do you have a sign that says "No girls allowed"?
I might as well. No, no, of course not. It's a blank door, blank like the slate that we all step into life with. It's an
Yeah,
invitation for someone to come
nice.
write on my personal history. Only good things. Um,
But I see. But I assume the smell though. That's enough. That's enough for the ladies to know that well.
it smells great in here. It smells like ouzo. Are you a fan of
What
black
does it smell
licorice?
like?
Black licorice, black licorice. And
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
nice.
I can take it or leave it. Yeah, it's. I haven't actually had had black licorice like that often. It's not
Yeah.
something I uh buy for myself that often, but I can. I'm not like most people who hate it. Like I can enjoy it.
Well, now you have an opportunity. Have some ouzo. Treat yourself. It's for men only, as we've discovered. What are you drinking? Anything today?
Just some bottled water.
Oh, nice, nice. That's
Yeah,
that's very progressive of you. Everybody can drink that. Um, is
yeah, I got yeah.
Did you bottle it yourself, or is this
No,
so
no.
some company
I
out
have people
there?
do that.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody
Yep.
put tap water in a bottle and sold it to you, and you were smart enough to buy it from them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, gotta
Like,
grease the wheels.
yeah, it's from Protected Springs in New Ringgold, Pennsylvania. How my
Oh,
people in New Ringgold, Pennsylvania.
I love that town. I've never been there or heard of it before this time, but it sounds like my kind of place. Um,
Yeah.
well,
How
so
about Tower City, Pennsylvania?
the Tower City. Yeah, yeah, big fan. Shout out to I suppose that is the primary thing that we hope to accomplish. We want to give many shout outs, and Tower, Pennsylvania.
Tower City.
Even better. I don't say this about a lot of things, but I love Tower City, Pennsylvania. It's just a gorgeous place. You can feel it, you know.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that
so, well, let me ask you this. So this is new. we are new. We're fresh, greasy babies out on the grand hellscape of the world. Who are we exactly? You said your name.
Yes,
Who the hell are you?
I'm just a unemployed man, just trying to pass the time. Hopefully, make a little money through sponsorships.
Yeah, well, that's what it
Maybe
is.
maybe Casper mattresses. Who's that underwear company? Mac Weldon.
Well, is that the one where I don't know. I've seen I don't know. I don't really pay attention to ads, but if anybody wants to send us free underwear, especially, my friend Shooter here, he is unemployed. He is in desperate need of some underwear and some sweet Uzo, who would also be a good sponsor. Um, I'm
Hello Fresh.
HelloFresh.
I think.
That's a good brand of underwear.
Oh,
Um,
that's a meal delivery service.
Oh, it's good because I thought I was going to have to eat underwear. So everything's up from here. Um, I am des Esseintes. I imagine what we're on here to do is we are going to be addressing a variety of subjects. We're both interested in our own brands of media, various television shows, movies, video games, books. And we also have a lot of social cultural speculation and commentary on the news. So that's the general idea of what we're doing. What we're doing with this is an episode 0, a pilot episode. It's meant to be an example of how we think the show will be going forward. But we haven't really gotten any kind of a stride yet. So thank you for slopping through this with us. Or I imagine, we're going to become absolute experts at this. No one
Oh
will
yes.
listen to this until, we are far enough ahead that we've become some kind of a social phenomenon, culture heroes. And then they will.
All we care about is the love of the people of Pine Grove, Pennsylvania. As long as long as one person is one per if one person in that town listens to this show, then I'll be happy.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I unironically agree with that sentiment. That's I'm a tear, Um, I also thought it might be interesting that once we have those lines of communication, like we might get show specific email addresses, or we might show up on platforms that allow for comments, then we may address some of those comments. It might be a nice back and forth to have with the fans who love and support us. We love and support you, every hair on your head. So kindly feel free to interact kindly, uh, very very kindly, especially with Shooter. He's such a sweet spirit and only wants kindness. Um, I well, let's see. In my notes, my all important notes. We also might feature musicians that both of us know at some point. If
Oh,
um,
I don't listen to music, but
well,
you're welcome to go ahead.
yeah. I mean, I'm all about the music. I've been
I,
known
I get
to.
I get pretty intimidated, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Why
Yeah,
is that?
musicians are so cool, and you know me,
Well, I
a real
mean,
nerdlinger.
that's that's a good point. You are a nerdlinger, uh, but all in all, this will be a truly magical time. Um, so, old Shooter, old buddy, old pal, do you listen to podcasts, don't you?
Yes, I do.
What's your history? What sort of podcasts? Do you listen?
Well, actually, I used to listen to Flophouse, but they got too political after Trump got elected.
I don't know Flophouse. Which are they?
Flophouse is a bad movie podcast.
Hmm.
It's three guys who sit around and like they watch a bad movie and they talk. They basically talk about it. Make fun of it. And one guy, he was like the head writer for the Jon Stewart show, and the other guy was also a writer, and the third guy, he's a bartender, and so I was a little bit like skeptical, after a while, like when I realized that they were associated with the Daily Show, because you know how that is, right? So
I don't know.
then after Trump got elected, I just had to I couldn't listen to it anymore, and plus they started having a lot more guests on, and they and I preferred them without the guests. The guests were all the wrong kind of people for me.
Okay.
So
No,
that was
no,
like my
no
one of my
longer like an escape. Um, I I have I was never really attached to the Daily Show when Jon Stewart was around, um, but I remember enjoying what I saw. He he was fine. It was good at the time. Did you did you did you pay any attention to Jon Stewart at the
no,
Daily?
I didn't like grow up with cable, so I didn't really watch it. And
Yeah,
by the
I
time I had
didn't.
cable, I was a little too old for that kind of humor, that kind of
Yeah,
I don't know, just like why would I was like why would I want to watch the news?
yeah.
But
Yeah,
actually I've grown to enjoy him a bit more since his latest antics on the Colbert show,
I
the
can't
late
watch.
night with Colbert show.
I no, I'm familiar, of course. I can't watch a lot of because Colbert was fun for me on what's the segment he did when the Colbert Report, and
Yeah.
I think he has a like an intelligent, compassionate demeanor, and he's quick. The guy is he's an improv. He's not really a comedian so much,
Yeah.
but everything
He's
has become editorializing. Like we just lost, we lost. Conan O'Brien just left late night, and um, I don't think like Colbert was close in moments. I honestly would have liked to see Craig Ferguson take over for David Letterman. Because
Well,
Colbert,
Craig Ferguson was like too niche. I don't think he took. I mean, he was like popular among like a certain young crowd, but I don't think he had that wide appeal that Colbert had. Like Colbert, at least he had like huge name recognition. I don't think they'd have done it like just based on business reasons.
you could be right. I think for quality of the content, where um, a lot of people have started putting a lot of like directionless absurd humor has become extremely popular with like Adult Swim, mostly Tim and Eric, and I think Craig Ferguson. He had a lot of that. Like he would when there was a national tragedy, he spoke on it well. When there was a serious issue, he would be willing to go against the grain. Like he'd talk about I think it was Britney Spears or something like that when she was having uh, like when she was a very public drug addict and would have those public freakouts. I remember when everybody was just beating up on this person in distress. Not that I'm a huge advocate for the rich and powerful generally, but this was just sort of a sick human being, and everybody was laughing at her as a national pastime. And Craig Ferguson kind of broke the jokiness and was talking about how it's kind of sick that we have all this weird obsession with somebody who is in the public eye who's just got a low quality of life and deteriorating, and we're just elbowing each other, talking about how great it is this person is dying in front of us. And he had a whole lot of funny, absurd shticks, and I agree that he wasn't introduced in the same way that Colbert was, where coming along with Jon Stewart, he's able to say to everybody, this guy is your friend. Um, but I think that Craig Ferguson would have fit just fine with modern uh, sentiments, and he wasn't like he'd talk about the news, but he wasn't obsessive and shaming about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
And
Colbert, the Colbert was the late night with Colbert show. From clips I've seen, it's basically him breaking down into tears, like when that, like when talking about, and then like trying to make up like nicknames for Trump. That's that's his thing now.
yeah, there's been a lot of being brought down to that level. We had 4 years of look at me stuff going on, and Colbert and pretty much everybody just played into that. I think Colbert has a whole lot of potential. I like him, but in the capacity of the show, it's just all become editorializing, and it seems a bit like he became company man and branded as a sweet,
Oh,
smart leftist guy.
well, like, did you see that clip with him with Jon Stewart trying to do his coronavirus bit, and like Colbert was obviously trying to shut him down the whole time?
No, but you told me about
No,
that.
yeah, like I've never seen anyone look more like a company man than Stephen Colbert in that clip.
Yeah,
You know?
it's I'm sure in context it makes sense, but so does absolutely everything. And it's whatever you think about it, it's just sort of an indication that he does not have mastery over his show. He's just sort of a sweet, funny guy that people like. But he is, his brand is owned by a particular group. And if you're talking about Conan O'Brien, Craig Ferguson couldn't have fit in if he wanted to. That's one of the reasons why I appreciated him. But Conan O'Brien, David Letterman, and then the other guys that are not really in my time, like I grew up with a bit of Johnny Carson, but he's before my time. These guys had a mastery of their position, and Colbert, it seems like they've got a sweet guy doing it, a smart, fun guy that people like doing it, but he is part of their brand, and it's not him mastering his show. It's just sort of the show being what it needs to be, and he is part of that. So it's the same with.
Well, he's there for the money. He's doing the job. They're
I know,
paying,
but
and
I don't
he's
believe that
not there to
he's.
rock the boat. And even if that means like his show is less funny, or you know
Yeah, but
truthful or
he's
whatever.
not an amoral twerp. I would say
Well,
that
that's what that's what that's what that's what he comes across to me as nowadays. Yeah,
but
the amoral twerp. That's pretty much, yeah. That's
it
kind
just
of, yeah. That's a perfect phrase.
no. Well, I mean, compared to like the other main late night guys, I suppose the it's two Seths and a Kim. No, it's two Jimmys in a Seth, right? Is that who it is?
There's Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy
Jimmy
Fallon,
Fallon and
Seth Meyers,
yeah.
James Corden.
Oh, well,
Uh,
I don't mean the ad forget that. Like I know of James Corden, but I couldn't tell you anything about him other than he seems
oh,
like a
he's,
a real theater guy. Like it seems like
yes,
it's vaguely Ellen-ish, where it's all just
yeah.
excitability and screaming and singing and stuff that I couldn't
That,
possibly get into.
yeah, that's pretty much what I gather from his show.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I couldn't say the quality of the stuff beyond, but I would think that Colbert, uh, compared to at least Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers, has a control of his position. Um, and I haven't watched a lot of these guys except for clips. I used to like Jimmy Kimmel, um,
oh yeah.
and not knowing where he is, I'm going to say that he's probably in a similar league.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty much in Stephen Colbert
Yeah,
territory now, where he's
yeah.
obviously a mouthpiece.
Well, it's probably those guys with their own individual qualities, and then Jimmy Fallon, and I would say Seth Meyers is above Jimmy Fallon because I've seen Seth Meyers clips, and there's a couple things I can only check into the editorializing so much, and I'm not interested in the celebrity interviews at all. But
Oh, the celebrity interviews are the best part of the Seth Meyers show.
I haven't
Apparently, he's
seen
like he like really likes to leer at the female guests.
that was a
That
that
makes
was
him
a
look pretty relatable.
well, I mean, Craig Ferguson did a lot of that, but
Oh yeah,
it
Craig
was
Ferguson. He was a pretty creepy guy too. Yeah,
he was a
I
creepy
remember.
guy, but I never got the I got the impression that it was more um, A, he could get away with it because that was the mood, or B, because I watched some stuff and it fell flat, that it was just clumsy.
Well,
Uh,
I think with Craig Ferguson, he did it like he did it like as part of like a humorous thing.
well,
It was like he was like joking around about being creepy, but the Seth Meyers guy, he's intense.
yeah,
I don't think there's any jokes, any jokes behind it. It's just him with his eyes wide as saucers, looking at all the bits.
yeah,
Like,
I don't know anything about that. I've just
yeah,
known that I've checked in with pieces of it.
yeah,
And Seth Meyers
like,
to me has seemed like a guy that was smart, relatable, well-meaning, and not funny at all.
oh yeah,
Like I don't. He's from like Jimmy Fallon was part of an area of SNL where I started to check out where they had some good stuff and some really bad stuff. And Jimmy
oh
Fallon,
yeah.
I believe, was in some of that good stuff, but he's he he just he seems like he's got a lot pinned down. I'm not sure why they thought that he would be an appropriate fit. Like as much as you couldn't see Seth Meyers mastering a late night talk show, I don't know like why they would consider Jimmy Fallon at all.
Well, he's got experience behind the desk at Weekend Update.
Was he in that?
Yeah, he has his. I think that was his big thing. Him and Tina Fey.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think the whole idea about Jimmy Fallon, he's not necessarily a stand-up comedian, but he's supposed to be like kind of a goofy, quirky, goofy guy
Well,
who's like outgoing and
yeah,
don't really care too much. It's not really about the jokes or cutting commentary, just about what he's perfect for the lightweight celebrity interview. That's his thing.
okay. Yeah, he'd be more of the improv or at the moment comedic actor. He's closer to Colbert in experience, I think. But Colbert, um, like he is intelligent and compassionate enough that I think he could do a real good job. Did you watch any of his early show when he was starting out?
The Colbert Report.
No, the when he took over for David Letterman.
I just seen clips, but from all the clips that I've seen, it's just garbage,
No, I remember it
pure
being
trash.
I remember it being pretty good.
Well,
And
I was like the thing was that made me avoid watching it was that he didn't play the same character he did on the Colbert Report,
oh,
and that's and that's kind of a it's kind of a deal breaker for me, I'm not interested in Stephen Colbert. I'm
Colbert.
Colbert is like funny, not Colbert.
Well, he's still Colbert. That's a permanent stage
Yeah.
name. Uh,
You know what I don't like about him?
uh,
He actually trained himself to not have a southern accent. He's like from South Carolina,
oh,
and he trained himself to not to like lose his southern accent because he was ashamed of it. He didn't want the his betters in the north to think he was like ignorant or anything like that. Like, what kind of man is that?
well, I can't speak to his personal experience, but I'd say that certainly is unfortunate. If he is if he's like a theater kid and he is involved with improv and stuff, I can appreciate the capacity to adopt different characters and accents, but to intentionally obliterate from yourself your roots. Isn't he from North Carolina? Is that what you said?
Yeah, South Carolina.
South Carolina. I think that's unfortunate. I don't know his experience. There's a lot I can't speak to. You may know more about that than him. I'm not sure if I heard that bit where he was actively trying to suppress that accent. It's sounds unfortunate to me.
I mean, I understand. I understand it if you're like, he's in the business of he's got to like speak clearly and intelligibly. That's we got like that's why newscasters speak like with a non-specific non-regional accent, right?
Yeah,
But from what I've heard, the way he said it, it's because he himself thought his the southern accent was inferior because and the southern people and culture was inferior inherently.
that's
Like he agreed with the people who believed that southerners were dumb,
it's
and he didn't want to be like a dumb southerner.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's always unfortunate. We get these. I don't know, when you're surrounded by things and you're encouraged to hate yourself and you work yourself away from what you are. I don't know enough on that to speak about it, but I think he could still be in his position and have a South Carolina accent. That wouldn't bother me. And I'm sorry that it bothers him if it does.
Yeah, well, no, he's just an amoral twerp, so no,
Well,
don't feel too bad for him.
well, yeah,
As
there's a degree of that, but I, I don't know. You get into the culture of doing a job, and you're going to do what you need to perform the job. That
Yeah.
doesn't make him any less in the context of observing it through a historical lens of late night talk show hosts. I think I would say maybe with Jimmy Kimmel because he kind of had that whatever thing about him. And I don't know
Oh
where he's
yeah.
at now. He could be the same. He could be different. I haven't been checking in with him.
I remember I used to watch the Jimmy Kimmel show. His show is kind of like the more laid back like show.
Yeah,
You
it
know what I'm
was
saying?
sort of like yeah, it was like he was vaguely high and caustic, but in a
Oh.
jokey way. Um,
Yeah, and like he had like his like uncle on the show, and
yeah,
like this that one that Mexican guy who's a security guard as well.
he had a security
Yeah.
guard, has his cousin, had the uncle. Now I believe his uncle died,
Yep.
and I think he still has at least the security guard on the show.
Yeah, I think Guillermo.
Guillermo, yeah. Um, you know, all those guys are fine. I think they have good qualities, but it's not what it was. If people want to listen to what, like we were talking with James Corden, the only thing that we gather from it is that it's singing and excitability and people pissing themselves over this and that celebrity culture bullshit. If they like that, that's fine. But there was a certain um, dominance of the floor and credibility to the. I don't know how to explain it right, but there was a certain stability to David Letterman compared to say Jay Leno. It was Letterman's
Oh
show,
yeah.
um, and a lot of the other guys could have been cycled out. I mean, the more we dwell on it, the worse I'm getting at critiquing it, and I don't have enough ouzo to justify that.
All you
It's
gotta do is like go on YouTube, find some clips of the Jay Leno show,
mm,
and watch that for a few hours and laugh yourself silly.
he had some good bits, but I never thought he was either engaged or in total control. I just thought he wanted to go home and do something else.
Yeah.
Um,
He's all about I think his main income. He like did stand up like throughout his whole
I
career.
he
Jay
does
Leno.
seem like he'd be. He seems like David Letterman seems like he would be an incredibly competent and confident uh, comedy writer and personality. Jay Leno seems like he would be perfectly capable of doing sort of a quipping stand-up routine. Um, but it didn't seem to have, he didn't seem to have the same kind of presence. But you know, noticing that I, at least only speaking for myself, my ability to critique these shows, I'll notice the digression. Apart from what was the bad film podcast you were talking about that you used to watch?
The Flophouse.
The Flophouse?
Yeah, Flophouse. Yeah.
Flophouse. What's some of your other experience with podcasts?
All right. I listened to I listened to was it? I used to listen to the Judge John Hodgman podcast. Are you
Oh,
familiar with John Hodgman, the actor?
vaguely. He was the PC in the
Y-
Mac and PC.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
I know he's a comedic writer. I saw him on an episode of Harmon Quest. So
Okay.
you know Harmon Quest.
Is it? Yeah, that's like Mark Harmon and his friends do a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, right? And they animate it.
Yeah, it's not Mark Harmon, but they do animate it, and it's a hoot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Dan Harmon.
Dan, there you go.
Mark
Dan,
Harmon's that guy from was it Jag?
you'd know better than
Or
I do. You've got much better memory for a lot of these. Like I'll be watching a show and I don't remember any of their names. I just internalize them as their character.
oh yeah, he was like it's like one of those. It's a CBS legal procedural like
Okay.
he was like a military detective or something.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I know the name. But what sort of stuff did he do on his show?
On the Judge John Hodgman podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically it'll be people. It's a judge show, right? And John Hodgman would act as the judge, and two people would have a dispute, and it's something. It's always like something like pretty minor. It's not like a legal dispute. It's more of a dispute like and like regarding like something like etiquette.
Hmm.
So maybe someone would come in and complain that their girlfriend always gets too many refills at the at the Burger King or something. So and then he would listen to each side of the story and and then comment on it and come with a ruling. That's basically the show. I liked him because he had like a real elegant way with words at
Right.
times.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about the guy, but my understanding is that he's a pretty competent guy. Hey, I'm going to make a quick suggestion. We're about 28 minutes into this. I'm going to pause and get another drink. Is that all right?
All right, just go ahead.
We're
Just
pausing.
get the drink and come back.
I'll
We can end
be
it out.
30 seconds.
All right.
One, go. All right.
All
I
right.
appreciate your tolerance. I had to go and see what else was there. I was getting a little dry.
All right. So yeah, I was just talking about the Judge John Hodgman podcast, but I had to I stopped listening to that after a while. I used to be a pretty faithful listener.
Just kind of tired of it.
Yeah. Plus, like the people on it, they're all like uh bougies,
Uh,
bougie types. It's not my kind of people.
yeah.
All like college educated and not
Well,
not the kind
we,
not the kind of crowd I'm comfortable around.
well, we met in college, didn't we?
Well, we met while we were there, but I was I went to college, but college didn't go to me, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, I do know what I do know what you're saying.
Right. And
Yeah, it's beautiful.
yeah, so
Well, all right. So um, that's a couple of them. We are not wanting to pinch ourselves too much. So what's a few others in quicker order podcasts that you
oh
listen to and you might take some influence from?
oh You know what the most disappointing one was?
Hmm.
Talk salad and scrambled eggs. Are you
I
familiar
don't
with
think
the
I've heard of
show
that.
Frasier?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Kevin Smith?
Uh, oh, of course I am. Yeah.
Yeah, so him and this other guy, they talk about a different episode of Frasier each time, right?
Hmm.
And I like that one, but after a while, as in all of his other podcasts, half the time he's like Kevin Smith's talking about Batman, and they didn't like keep it up. They didn't and then they for some after a while they didn't like keep it up anymore. So
I
that was that used to be a one I really liked because yeah, Frasier's good show. Kevin
yeah,
Smith and that other guy were pretty engaging about it. They actually even had people involved with making of Frasier or like actors or writers come on
yeah.
and talk to them about it.
Well, yeah. I like Kevin Smith. I like well, excuse me. I like Frasier.
it Kevin Smith is kind of a interesting guy. He had like how many like he's had like a run of good movies. Like Clerks was good, and then
Good.
Mallrats. I actually like that one. Everyone hates that one. How about you?
I don't think I've seen it.
You haven't?
No.
It's the one where some guy, I guess he goes out with a girl, works at a mall. You know,
I don't know. I might have seen it. The ones of his that I know that I've seen, the two Clerks movies. Um, I like
yes,
the second one, but the first one is a classic. I've
I
seen. You what?
I've seen the second one as well.
Yeah. Have you seen the Tusk? Tusk? Have you seen Tusk?
No,
That's
how
a hoot.
I basically seen Tusk though, because I listened to his like one of his other podcasts, and he'll talk about the idea for it all the time. So
Well, in
it's like
line
I've
of,
seen it in the theater of the mind.
I think it's worth seeing. I think there are a few movies that he has done or are around him. Like I think we should both watch Tusk, and then we could talk about that for a while. And I also think we should talk about what's the one you sent it to me um, with the clown.
Vulgar.
Vulgar. Yeah, like a neighborhood guy wants to make a movie and he produced it or something. I think we should.
Yeah, it was Kevin Smith's like best friend, Brian Johnson,
Yeah,
who did that, and he's actually a big uh thing on like the Kevin Smith podcast. He's actually pretty funny on them. I think he's better on podcasts than like making a movie. This Brian Johnson guy.
yeah, it was certainly. I don't know. It drew you in that movie.
Yeah, it's a bad. I think it's a bad movie, but it I did get like invested in it.
I I did. Yeah, I've got so little bouncing around sometimes that I can get invested and I can experience what I see. I got involved with that, but I'd want to watch it again before we talk about it.
Yeah,
Um,
like I think there's like two good performances at least in that movie. Like the Dante, of course, and
yeah,
the main bad guy. He was like really good in it.
yeah, I'd have to see it again to say much on it. And I just
Like
got really involved with them. But
I'm surprised that that guy he hasn't like appeared in like Law and Order like episodes, like several times because he's probably like a New Jersey actor, which is like close to the New York area. Is this close to the New York area? Like
it
they
seems kind of a low budget movie. They
yeah
probably got a lot of people that they knew on it. Um,
yeah. But this guy, he seemed like a professional actor.
yeah, yeah, people do. You know, it's with a little bit of confidence makes the medicine go down. You know? Well, uh, well, a lot of my the podcasts that I listen to, I don't listen to many. I introduced you to Drunk Friend,
Oh
um,
yes.
and I enjoyed that one because I think we both listened to for me, it's listened to a fair amount of YouTube, um, and these guys are talking about video games, usually older games, and they'll sometimes talk to other people who do video game YouTube stuff. One of the fellows is he has a popular YouTube channels where he does these short reviews of usually Super Nintendo games called SNES Drunk.
Yes.
And the other fellow, uh, I didn't take notes on that, but the other fellow does NES videos, and they're also pretty high quality. But he is more involved with the podcast world than he is the YouTube world. He's not as spread around as SNES Drunk. Did you ever watch any of his stuff?
What was it?
Oh, it's the other guy that does Drunk Friend. It's um, his videos are called Nest Friend, I believe.
No, I've not. I've not. I haven't. I don't think I've even heard of it.
Yeah, it's just the other guy in the Drunk Friend thing. His videos are worth watching if you like. You grew up with the Nintendo Entertainment System and the Genesis mostly, right?
So here's the consoles I had. I had a Nintendo Entertainment System, and then when I turned uh, maybe 12 or 13 or something, like maybe 10. Yeah, like I got the Sega Saturn,
Oh,
and then I guess maybe like high school or before high school, I got the Xbox.
nice. You grew up with the Saturn?
Yes, I had like three games on it:
What were the three games?
Virtua Fighter 2, Virtual Cop, Daytona USA, NBA Jam Extreme. Uh, I had like the Nights into Dreams demo.
Hmm.
Uh,
Is that the
I
one where
had
it
a
has
couple.
that Christmas thing?
Well,
Is that the one where it has the Christmas thing?
yeah, but you know how that works.
No.
So the Sega Saturn has an internal clock. So when the internal clock hits uh hits uh, hits Christmas December 25th,
Yeah,
it switches the graphics to the Christmas graphics.
that's cool. I didn't know that they'd advanced that far by Saturn. I know some what PS3, 360, Wii games. Oh no. The GameCube has that. Um, yeah, I just was unaware that they had anything like that on the Saturn. I thought it was like a separate mode its own game or something.
Nope. Yeah, it's just good old fashioned programming.
Okay. Well, the other sorts of podcasts that I'll listen to. Are you at all familiar with? It's this English group. Um, they're mostly on YouTube, and they're called. They've got two channels. There's Outside Xbox and Outside Extra.
I've seen Outside Xbox on YouTube.
They're just like the lists that are everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how popular they are over there. I get the impression that they're one of the bigger channels from the area, but I spent not just with the way the world has been, but I've spent a whole lot of time alone for a handful of years. And one of the things that I've reached out to as far as content is some stuff that seemed kind of, both in line with my interests and friendly. Uh, I've been back and forth on punditry and the news and stuff like that. And sometimes I just want to do something that's in line with the movies, books, video games, things that I like, and then things where people are around having a good time. Some of the stuff that yeah, sometimes go out and do something, but I'm not a hugely social person. I haven't been for a while. And one thing that that group does is they do regular D&D, Dungeons and Dragons game, um, and a whole lot of it is sort of the fun of it. There's an interactive storytelling that they go through. It's a pleasant, uncynical thing that differs from, usually what I seek out when I'm seeking out takes on the world. Just easy, light, and friendly stuff. But it's also pretty entertaining. If you like, do you follow anything like that?
No.
It's it's fun. It's not heavy. It's enjoyable stuff. It's uh, it's not as vulgar as what you'd get out of the what's that thing you were just talking about, the Harmon Quest.
Oh
Um,
yes.
is a Harmon Quest. They'll have celebrity guest stars, and the main people are comedy writers. And this one, it's they're writers of a different kind. Um, but it's a lot of fun. And then other podcasts that I'll listen to or haven't in a while. I have not in a while, but I was on regular stretches. I just have other things going on, or I don't think to keep it up. But for a while, I was pretty into Welcome to Night Vale. Have you heard of that?
I have heard of that. I know Hal Lublin, one of the actors on that, had a
Mhm.
podcast that I used to listen to.
Oh, okay.
His podcast is basically, which is like which is better than what, which is better than what. It's like they take him and his partner would take two things and debate which one was better.
Oh, any good?
Yeah, it was all right for a bit.
Okay.
But Welcome to Night Vale, yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was your thing, right?
There's a few that some of that set have been associated with where they started up, but it's more of a narrative podcast, and the main character in that one in particular is a radio host of a local radio show, and it's just going through this world of this town that's hidden away in the desert that you can't reach, you can't get out from, and all sorts of weird gods and aliens and government conspiracies and stuff is going on. And it's kind of a sweet sentimental thing with a lot of twisted uh, stuff in there. It's just fun. Um, and I think that's about all I've been doing with podcasts for a while. I used to tune into the Joe Rogan podcast sometimes. Uh,
Oh, that's you're raising my red flags now.
oh, am I?
Fascist alert.
What alert?
Fascist alert.
Oh, fascist alert. Yeah, no, he has had and he still has some interesting uh, figures from cultural figures from the scientific community. Um, that I don't really care too much about, not it's just nothing that I've taken an interest in competitive fighting or martial
Yeah.
arts or a lot of the things that but he's also doesn't he talk a lot about like hallucinogenic uh
Yep.
yeah
DMT.
yeah DMT. These are not, it's sometimes interesting to listen in on some of that stuff, but I'm more interested in like oh, I don't know, I enjoyed the Bernie Sanders one, the Snowden one, uh, um, when he has what I can't think of any names.
Ben
What's the
Shapiro.
no
Jordan Peterson.
uh, no, I'm not too up to date on Jordan Peterson. The astrophysics.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, he's interesting when he's on.
Oh yeah, I hate Neil deGrasse Tyson.
How come?
I don't know. He's basically a shill for certain people.
I don't get it.
He's I don't know. He's basically a mouthpiece, for big science. Uh, I think he seems to care more about keeping being on television than the science itself.
Yeah, I can't say. Perhaps you followed him more than I have, but I always thought that he had interesting diatribes and digressions. Um, I should say, because we're coming upon 10 minutes left, that one thing that we have been bouncing around doing is so this is going to be a fortnightly podcast, and we're going to put it out once we have an idea of what kind of editing time we're going to need. And we've been thinking, this is into the future, but perhaps not too far, of maybe doing our own D&D or D&D style role-playing thing with more people on off weeks. So this fortnightly, and then some kind of a D&D campaign on the off weeks. Uh, that seems like, because we have a bit of a at least some interest in it, and some amount of history. What's your history with that sort of thing?
I've never successfully played Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I
It's very hard. You need to be like some sort of a human resources manager or something it's like you have to be a logistician.
it's like everything else. You just sort of get used to it until you die.
Yeah.
I was in a group briefly. This fellow I met him in Germany. How's that for you? But
Yeah.
he had a group and he invited me into it, and he was good at managing the group, and it was a story good at storytelling. But I didn't mesh well with the group because it was just personality conflicts, and I was in there more for the goofing off improv thing, and those guys wanted to win. I
Oh
remember,
yes.
yeah, I remember the character I had. He died. He was doing something that was astronomically stupid. It was something that was in line with his character that I thought was right at the time.
Yeah.
Um, and they were in their own scenes, and they knew what my character was doing in the meta, because what I was choosing to have that character do was so against what they wanted to do, that this one fellow knew what my character was doing, or at least he had some kind of an intuition all of a sudden, and he had to go check my character out, and that ended up in my character being killed by his own party. And while they were all very competent in a whole lot of aspects of the thing, I don't know if that is a thing that you play to win so much as your character is playing to win, but you have to follow the motivations. And this is I
I'm back.
hey so how long was I gone? What did I cut off on?
I'm not sure. It was like a couple of minutes,
Oh, was it?
something like that. Yeah, like you're in the middle of talking about your D&D group.
Okay. Well,
You were saying that like your character died. He was doing something really bad. Your group, your teammates were trying to win, and some guy there. I guess there's something about the meta of the game, and they kind of knew what you were gonna do, and then it cut off there.
okay, okay. On go. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. We cut out there for a second, but the point was, it was a good group of guys. They were all more experienced. Uh, they took it seriously. I just had a different state of mind, and I was totally ignorant going into that. Um, so it didn't really work out. I left after a while, but it was an interesting time, interesting story, and it was a good group of guys. They were all good fellows. And then I know you and I have tried to get something going from time to time. I sent you that starters kit, and
Yeah.
you wrote a it was just one, I think. You wrote a campaign,
Oh yes,
and
I was actually quite proud of it,
it
of where it
it
was going.
it went interesting places, and I played the disruptor character like I like, but um, anyway, I guess the point is that we're going to be uh, possibly getting into that if we can find the right group. It'd be a little odd, just the two of us. Um,
Yeah, we need to get like a dungeon master.
I
'Cause
I might I might see if I can track down the one fellow, but I want to make sure that we have a good grasp on what we're doing here before we take that on. But he was
yeah.
quite good at what he did.
I have a
Um,
question. During the session, do you have to call the dungeon master?
you what?
Do you call the dungeon master?
No. If
Why
you're gonna,
not?
if you can, if you want to, you can. I guess.
Master, master,
Well,
master.
well, I would say we've got 5.5 minutes on our time, and I I think the flow's gone fairly well. There were a couple examples. You had a bit of cultural speculation that you were going to explain, and we were also going to talk a bit perhaps about. Like I was holding in my hands this morning my own copy, which is a very good copy of Super Mario 64, which is just sold for $1 million for some reason, and
How much is your copy appraised for?
much less than that. I think I bought it for 20-ish or so. I didn't have that when I was a kid. That was a rental when I was a kid. Um,
Yeah.
so it seems a little bit overpriced to me. There's this website, pricecharting.com, that tells you the value of games. And it says that a complete copy in the box, never opened, goes usually for about $1,000, which is very high. But it's just it seems like it doesn't seem right that that somebody with that much money would be so frivolous with it.
Yeah. Well, it's all about rarity, right?
It's not. I think there was the pack-in game. It's not
Yeah.
rare. And then
Yeah.
for complete in the box things, I mean, I'm sure it was a very good copy of it, but
Well, most people end up opening them, so the complete in-game copy would be relatively rare.
yeah, relatively, but not $1 million rare.
You
Um,
know who does that?
oh,
You know who is that frivolous with their money?
oh,
Well, people, those guys in Saudi Arabia or the Emirates or Dubai. You know what I'm talking about? Those ultra rich guys.
maybe it was
That
something like
you
that.
know,
People like I remember hearing about this bidding war between Nicolas Cage and Leonardo DiCaprio over like a T-Rex skeleton or skull or something like that.
yeah.
Um, it, it just it, anyway, we don't have uh, the time we'd need to properly uh, weep and moan about that.
About how other people are spending their money.
Yeah, we don't have the time for that. So we are going to essentially, as we did, we're going to go off on digressions. We'll kick the can down the road on certain topics that we meant to discuss, but it's mostly sort of talking about um, news articles, social cultural things, and movies, books, video games, some TV shows that we're interested in, and just seeing where that goes. Let me ask you on this, since we've got so little time left. Do you have any reflections on this product, or excuse me, project? Oh, shit.
It can be
What
both.
we've just done, and what what we may have learned, what we could take going forward.
All right. So the good thing is that 1 hour is not that as hard to fill as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
You know, kind of just flew by. So I think, yeah, I think this can be done. And now we have like at least two. I got two things to talk about on my next appearance on this show.
Sure.
And if all else fails, I can just start shouting out random cities.
Oh yeah, yeah. That no, you need to keep that. Um, we
That's
may.
that's actually my thing.
Oh, it's a good thing. That's why they call you shooter, because you shoot out the names of random cities. It's he's done it since he was a little boy. It's his
Yeah,
it's.
here's everyone, all the folks out in Burbank, California.
I hope you guys are doing all right. Really, it's a
Yeah.
lovely town. I think I probably passed through. We are about 50 seconds away. This is going to come out when we have it, and then when we have an idea of what we're doing, we're going to do more of it. Uh, would you like the final word? I'd like you to have the final word if you have a final word.
Final thoughts is be good and love each other. I think that's what Jerry Springer used to say. Is that correct?
It sounds right. Yeah, yeah. So Jerry Springer, wherever you are, be well and love each other.
Yeah.
At 20 seconds left, we're not really
Yeah.
sure how
Well,
things are
speaking
going
of
to be padded. Oop.
speaking of Springer, just like make a shout out to the people of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati, Ohio, we love you. Everybody should. And this was this show. We wish you well, our good friends. Have a lovely day.
All right. Take
Uh, so that let's see. I'm going to. Uh, where's the chord? Okay. Uh,